Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We're going to read from Canto 4, Chapter 6, Text 31. Vaidurya Krita Sopana
Vedurya Krita Sopana
Vapya Utpalamalinihi
Vapya
Vapalamalini
Uttalamalini
Praptam Kim Purusher Drishtva
Praptam Kim
Praptam
Purushe
Vimuktam
Drishtva
Ta Aradadrishurvatam.
Ta Aradadrishurvatam.
Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Is the screen okay, or is there too much reflection on it?
The screen is okay.
It's all right. Okay. Okay, cool. Maybe the reflection is just for me then. Okay, so they also saw that the bathing ghats and their staircases were made of Vedurya money. The water was full of lotus flowers. Passing by such lakes, the demigods reached a place where there was a great banyan tree. So they wanted to bathe in the lakes. And in the lakes, there is this special bathing places called bathing ghat. And now we take shower in the toilets. But before, there was this special places where you could bathe in the river or in the lake. They were called the bathing ghats. And here it's so beautiful with lotuses. Here we have to especially go to a spa to have that kind of atmosphere. Isn't it? So yojana shato shedaha shato sedaha
Sayojana Shato Sedaha
padona vitapat yataha
Padona
Adona
Vitapaya
Vitapaya
paryakritachala chayo
Paryakrita
Aryakrita Chala
Charayo
Chayo
nirnidastapa varjitaha.
Nirnida
Nirnidasthapavarjitaha.
Savarjita.
That banyan tree was 800 miles high and its branches spread over 600 miles around. The tree cast a fine shade which permanently cooled the temperature, yet there was no noise of birds. So they've come to a banyan tree 800 miles high, so tall. And the wide of this banyan tree is 600 miles. So 800 miles tall and 600 miles around. It was cooling everywhere and there was no noise of birds. Generally, in every tree, there are bird nests and the birds congregate in the evening and create noise. But it appears that this banyan tree was devoid of nests and therefore it was calm, quiet, and peaceful. There were no disturbances from noise or heat, and therefore this place was just suitable for meditation. So calm and peaceful atmosphere. Tasmin Mahayogam Yogamaye
Tasmin Mahayogamaye
Mumukshu Sharane Suraha
Mamukshu Sarane Suraha
Dardrashu Shivam Asinam
Tadrishu Shivam Asinam
Tyaktamrasham Ivantakam.
Taktamarsham Ivantakam.
The demigod saw Lord Shiva sitting under that tree, which was competent to give perfection to mystic yogis and deliver all people. As grave as eternal time, he appeared to have given up all anger. In this verse, the word Mahayogamaye is very significant. Yoga means meditation. Meditation on who? On the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Mahayoga means those who engage in the devotional service of Vishnu. So yoga, we have been hearing from Lord Kapila Dev also, that when the yogi is sitting in samadhi, his mind is fixed on the lotus feet of Vishnu. Samadhi doesn't mean that we empty our mind or think of nothing or some light or any other object. No, yoga means, samadhi means to meditate on the form of the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. And that is yoga. And what is Maha-yoga? Devotional service. Maha-yoga is called devotional service. So meditation means remembering Smaranam. There are 9 different kinds of devotional service, of which Smaranam is one process. The yogi remembers the form of Vishnu within his heart. Thus, there were many devotees engaged in meditation on Lord Vishnu under the big banyan tree. So there's Lord Shiva, and around him there are many other devotees. They're all doing yoga. They're sitting in samadhi. They are doing smaranam, and they are remembering who? The Lord, Lord Vishnu. Paramatma is there in our heart, and they were all fixed their minds on the Paramatma in their heart. The Sanskrit word Maha is derived from the affix Mahat. This affix is used when there is a great number or quantity. So Mahayoga indicates that there were many great yogis and devotees meditating on the form of Lord Vishnu. So it's not that only 1 or 2 different type of yogis meditate on the form of Lord Vishnu. No, yoga means linking with the Lord. Yoga means to link with the Supreme. And the yogis who are meditating, the true yogi, the actual yogi, they are meditating on the personal form of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu has a personal form. Generally, such meditators are desirous of liberation from material bondage, and they are promoted to the spiritual world, to one of the Vaikunthas. The yogi, his desire in the heart is to go to the spiritual world. Liberation means freedom from material bondage or nations. In the material world, we are suffering life after life because of our bodily identification. And liberation is freedom from that miserable condition of life. So we are all spirit souls. But under this influence of Maya, we are thinking we are the body. And because we are thinking we are the body, we suffer. Because this is ignorance. So ignorance is the root cause of our suffering. And so what does liberation mean? Liberation means we are free from the suffering. We are free from identifying ourselves with the body. We have completely understood, oh, I'm not the body, I'm the spirit soul. So then there is no reason to suffer. So in the material world, Dukhalayam Ashaswatam, Krishna says that this material world is Dukhalayam Ashaswatam, a temporary place of misery. This is the way the material world is. For example, we heard a nice example where in a rice field, what will we find? What are we going to find in the rice field? Anyone?
The rice.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. Yes, we will find rice in the rice field. Similarly, in the material atmosphere, the atmosphere itself is designed in such way to inflict misery. So in the material world, we will find misery. The Vaikuntha world is designed in such way that if just by being there, you feel happy. In the material world, we have to endeavor. We have to do something to become happy. But in the spiritual atmosphere, just being in the spiritual atmosphere, we experience happiness. So, Sananda Nadayer Mahasiddhe
Sanantanadiye Mahasiddhe
Shante Samshanta Vigraham
Shante
Shanti Samshanta Vigraham
Upasyamanam Sakhyacha
Upasyamanam
Yacha
Sakyacha
Bharta Goyaka Rakshasam.
Bhartra Goyaka Rakshasam.
Lord Shiva sat there surrounded by saintly persons like Kuber, the master of the Goyakas, and the four Kumaras who were already liberated souls. Lord Shiva was grave and saintly. The personalities sitting with Lord Shiva are significant because the four Kumaras were liberated from birth. So the four Kumaras, they are liberated personalities. We heard that how they went to Vaikuntha and they became pure devotees. Before that itself, they were liberated personalities. They were Brahmavadis, understanding that God is Brahman. And they were liberated from birth. That's the reason when Lord Brahma, where he created the four Kumaras come directly from Lord Brahma. And then he told them, you help me to populate the universe. They said, sorry, we don't want to do that. We have a higher purpose, you know. So they are liberated great personalities from birth itself. They have their sampradaya called the Nimbarka Sampradaya. It's a bona fide sampradaya. It's a Vaishnav sampradaya. It may be remembered that after their birth, these Kumaras were requested by their father to get married and beget children in order to increase the population of the newly created universe. But they refused, and at that time, Lord Brahma was angry. So, because it's Lord Brahma's service, he's worried, he has tension. Oh, I have to populate the universe. So he's creating children. First, he created the four Kumaras. They're like, no, we don't want to populate. So he got angry. How is he going to do his service? So in that angry mood, Rudra, or Lord Shiva, was born. From between the eyebrows, Lord Brahma was so angry that Lord Shiva was born. Out of his anger, Rudra. Thus, they were intimately related. So they are brothers. Kuvera, the treasurer of the demigods, is fabulously rich. Thus, Lord Shiva's association with the Kumaras and Kuvera indicate that he has all transcendental and material opulences. Actually, he is the qualitative incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, his position is very exalted. So, what does qualitative incarnation mean? Does anyone know? Qualitative incarnation is the Guna avatar. He is the Guna avatar of the Lord. He's in charge of the mode of ignorance. And we have been hearing that Lord Shiva is not an ordinary living entity. He's not God. He's not a Jivatma. He is in a category by himself. He's Lord Shiva. And it's not that he does not have any riches. Although he's sitting in this Kailash mountain under a tree, we can see how opulent this hill is. Minerals, valuable jewels, um, uh, lakes, grains, fruits, flowers, everything is there. And here Kuber, the treasurer of the demigods, who is in charge of all the money, he is also sitting here with Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva he is all the devotees of the Lord are supremely opulent. They are very opulent. Why? Because they have the Lord with them. So they have all the opulences. Krishna is the source of all opulences. Krishna is supremely opulent. So similarly, his devotees are also opulent. Vidya tapo yoga patham.
Vidya tapo yoga patham.
Astitam tam adhishwaram.
Astitam tam adishwaram.
Charantam vishva suhridam.
Charantam vishwasu.
Hridam.
Vatsalya-lokamangalam.
Vasalya-lokamangalam.
The demigods saw
So,
Lord Shiva situated in his perfection as the master of the senses, knowledge, creative activities, and the path of achieving perfection. He was the friend of the entire world, and by virtue of his full affection for everyone, he was very auspicious. So, Lord Shiva, he is here because the demigods are approaching Lord Shiva. So we are seeing their vision of how they are seeing Lord Shiva. They saw Lord Shiva was not angry. Earlier Lord Shiva was angry. That's the reason he had made the demon Veerabhadra. But now he is not angry. He's sitting peacefully. He's appearing in his perfection. He's doing his austerity, devotional service. He has all the knowledge. They're seeing that he has the knowledge. And Adhishwaram, they can see that he has controlled his senses, master of the senses, that he's performing austerity, charantam, vishwasuhridam, friend of the whole world. A pure devotee is friendly to everyone. And Lord Shiva, he is the Vaishnavam Yatha Shambhu. He is the best of the Vaishnavas. So here the demigods can see that Lord Shiva is really the friend of everyone. He's full of affection, Vatsalya. He has affection for everyone because he's seeing everyone in relation to Krishna. And Lokamangalam, auspicious for everyone. That is the position of a devotee. A devotee, because by his thoughts, words, and deeds, he's always pleasing the Supreme Lord. So he is auspicious himself, and everything he does is auspicious for everyone. Lokam Mangalam.
So
Lord
why
Shiva is
did
full of
sorry, Hare Krishna. So why
Hare
did the four
Krishna.
Kumaras also came there? I mean, came
They're,
to sit beside Lord
they are
Shiva.
brothers. They are brothers.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I thought they would
They are
go
associated.
to Vishnu's abode, na?
Oh, but
Mm,
they don't stay there, no?
they don't stay.
They went to Lord Vishnu's abode, but they have their own planet, the four Kumaras. I forget which planet they live in, Maharlok or one of the higher planets. They live there,
Okay.
Tapalok or some, I'm not sure where. But yeah,
Mhm. So they were there also when
yeah, they are also
Vishnu.
here with Lord Shiva.
Okay.
Yeah. And the four Kumaras, what they are doing, wherever they are going, they are also preaching devotional service.
Mm.
Because how we heard that Maitreya Muni, he's speaking the Bhagavatam right now. He heard from, who did he hear from? Was it Parasara Muni or someone? And he had heard from the four Kumaras. So the four Kumaras, they are also, that is the business of the pure devotee. They're always everywhere in the universe, spreading the glories of the Lord and attracting everyone to engage in devotional service. So then, one who knows the modes of work is understood to be situated on the path of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One cannot serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead unless one has achieved full perfectional knowledge in the ways and means of performing devotional service. So Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma na sochati na kamshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. Pure devotional service begins from the liberated platform. That is the platform of pure devotional service. So we may say, what are we doing? Well, we are also engaging in devotional service. We are practicing. We are practicing devotional service, and we need to continue to practice. Practice makes a person perfect. So Lord Shiva is described here as Adishwara. Ishwar means controller, and Adishwara means particularly controller of the senses. Generally, our materially contaminated senses are apt to engage in sense gratificatory activities. But when a person is elevated by wisdom and austerity, the senses become purified and they become engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what we think, these senses that are given to us, we think is for our enjoyment. Let me see whatever I want. Let me hear whatever I want. Let me eat whatever I want. let me use my body in a way that I will enjoy. This is what we think. But actually, the senses and the body is given to us to engage it in the service of Krishna. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktir Uchyate. That's the reason we are given the senses. And when we engage the senses in service of Krishna, then that leads for our purification of the senses. When our senses are purified, we will be able to understand Krishna in truth. We will be able to see him in truth. So here the demigods are able to see that Lord Shiva is the controller of the senses. He's not a servant of the senses. We at our stage, we are servant, or the senses tell us they demand so much attention, and we give in to them. But not Lord Shiva, not the pure devotees. Lord Shiva is the emblem of such perfection, and therefore in the scriptures it is said, Vaishnavanam yatha shambhu. Lord Shiva is a Vaishnava. Lord Shiva, by his actions within this material world, teaches all conditioned souls how to engage in devotional service 24 hours a day. So this is the business of a Vaishnava. What does the Vaishnava want? He wants to show us how we can engage in devotional service, because devotional service is the eternal activity of every living entity. It's just that we have forgotten. And the Vaishnavas are so kind that they are reminding us of this, so that we can also become happy. We can also be situated in our original position. So they are suhridam, friendly to all living entities, and all the activities are lokamangalam, for all auspicious for everyone. Therefore, he is described here as Lokamangala, good fortune personified for all conditioned souls. Lord Chaitanya says in the Caitaniya Caritamita, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kahe, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hai. That all the Shastra says that even a moment's association with the sadhu can give us perfection. Why? Because the sadhu shows us what? To engage in devotional service. And this is what Lord Shiva is doing. And that's the reason he's described as Lokamangala, or good fortune personified for all conditioned souls. What is his desire? That everyone become pure devotees of Krishna. He is a pure devotee of Krishna. He wants everyone to engage in pure devotional service. This is what Lord Shiva's desire is. Does anyone want to add or comment? Maybe we can read
It's quite
more.
clear, nothing to add.
I'm sorry?
It's quite clear, nothing to add.
Okay. Lingam cha tapasabhishtam
Lingam cha tapasabhishtam
Basma danda jatajinam
Basma danda jatajinam
Angena sandhya brarucha
Angena sandhya pracha
Chandra lekham cha bibhartam.
Chandra lekam cha
Abhipratam.
He was seated on a deerskin and was practicing all forms of austerity. Because his body was smeared with ashes, he looked like an evening cloud. On his hair was the sign of a half moon, a symbolic representation. Lord Shiva's symptoms of austerity are not exactly those of a Vaishnava. Lord Shiva is certainly number one Vaishnava, but he exhibits a feature for a particular class of men who cannot follow the Vaishnava principles. The Shaivites, the devotees of Lord Shiva, generally dress like Lord Shiva, and sometimes they indulge in smoking and taking intoxicants. Such practices are never accepted by the followers of Vaishnava rituals. So certainly Lord Shiva is a Vaishnava, but here he is seated on a deer skin. A Vaishnava usually does not sit on a deer skin. And here is his body is smeared with ashes. So he looks a little different than a regular Vaishnava, but he is High Vaishnavam Yatha Shambhu, the leader of the Vaishnavas. And we should not imitate him. When we imitate him, that's where the problem comes. We simply should follow his instructions, where he is saying that worship Lord Krishna, worship Lord Vishnu. So we'll stop here for today. Thank you so much for listening in and joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Hare